It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex
Corrupt
and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Lua Zimpanza. I am an activist, a feminist, and a researcher.
I am Nirupa Maharaj, the mother of a late 34-year-old homosexual young man called Akshay.
Karen Basi, and I go to Athlone Girls High School. I have 2 siblings and I live with my parents.
Morning, everyone. My name is Mantombi Moyo. I am 18 years old. I go to Athlone Girls High School.
Back in 2002, I lost a brother that hung himself. And I think I live with the questions to date as to how does one get to that point? I carry the guilt every day that I could have probably been there for him. I could have done more. There's just a lot of questions that will forever remain unanswered. He left a daughter, which I happen to take care of her as best as I can. But from someone that has attempted suicide, or I can't really say I have challenges with mental health issues. I'd like to know more about how does it get so overwhelming? And I'd like you two ladies to share your own experiences.
Akshay was a young homosexual man, and he attempted his life at the very, very young age of 11. I still remember he was in primary school, and he took all my mom's Panados in the hope that it would kill him, but he was 11 years old.
My parents divorced in 2019, and basically their divorce, it was based on, just rumors about my dad cheating on my mother and everything.
My mom was pregnant and she had to go to the hospital, and then I was left with my sibling, and that kind of like overwhelmed me, and I didn't really understand how I could just go from a daughter to being like a motherly figure to my other brother, and protect him and take care of him, cook for him, and make sure that he has done his homework.
He was 9 years old when I discovered that he was very different, but you can't approach an 11-year-old. It's just impossible. Obviously, he was dealing with a lot of stuff about being unsure of who he was.
On the day, I think everything happened on a Sunday. I was studying at that moment, and my little brother was watching cartoons, and I just felt like this whole thing, like I am a whole entire parent right now, and I don't even know how to feel or to do at this moment. And I remember that in the bathroom there were sleeping pills in there. So, and there was grandpa and those rat poison pellets. And I took about 3 of those and some grandpa and the sleeping pills, and I decided to take a nap. Thought that maybe I wouldn't wake up after that. I even prayed before that, thinking that maybe I can be forgiven for what I'm about to do if I pray.
At first, cut my wrist. I have scars on my wrist. I cut open and I started feeling as if it wasn't enough. It wasn't taking away the pain or the anger I have inside. So I took my mother's sleeping tablets. There were 5 tablets. I drank them all at once, and I thought maybe I wasn't gonna this morning. I still woke up, and all that happened was I felt sick the next morning. It really they didn't do much.
Fortunately, as a mother, the instinct is always there. And I was day off that day, and I remember feeling in my gut something was wrong with him. So I put my tackies on and I ran to the school, which wasn't far away. And I caught him in the boys' toilet about to take all my mom's Panados. And that's when I realized that he really, really needed help.
I puked every single thing that I had consumed. I vomited everything out, and I still felt like a little bit sick because it had been in my stomach. And the next day, that's when I went to school and I informed my teacher that, I feel like puking right now because of what I did the previous day. And he immediately took me to the office and he called my parents. Both my parents didn't understand what was going on. And then I went back home and I slept. And after that we did communicate and ask questions about like what happened, what was going on for everything to lead to that event. Like, do you feel that you need help, or what is the way forward from what is happening at this moment that we can move forward and get help?
All started was when my mother asked me to sign the divorce papers. I had to fill in all the forms, do all the paperwork, and I did all of that, and it kind of made me feel like I was separating my parents, lawfully, legally. I was the one who separated my parents. And I had to hide it with my dad. I couldn't let him know that I was the one who filled in all the forms and did all of that. He could see that the handwriting was not my mom's handwriting. He could see that it was one of his children's handwriting, obviously. But we were not allowed to tell him. We were forbidden from telling him.
I just been used to like coming home from school and eating and then doing my homework. I never really thought about the responsibility, like taking care of my brother or like going out of my way to make sure that he's okay,
Another thing is I've had to become a parent to my older sister's son. She has a 2-year-old son. I was forced to become a mother to this baby boy from the age of 16. It's a lot of pressure, I must say.
Being a single mom was very, very difficult for me because I had to hold a 8-hour day job. And I still had to come home and try to work around how am I going to deal with my boy. He was bullied as a child. He was bullied right up until high school. He was beaten on many occasions because you could see he was gay. He was different. He walked differently. He talked differently. But he was a very lonely young man. He would come from school. He would sit in his room. When I got home from work, I would hear him sobbing.
So ever since then, I've been stuck in the middle of my parents' relationship. Even now, after they've divorced, I'm the one who communicates with my father. Every time my mother needs money, to be more specific, I have to tell lies to my dad about everything,
When he turned 16, he came out of the closet. And from 16 up until the age of 34, I went through many, many problems with him. He was in and out of a psychiatric hospital. He was diagnosed with MDD, which is major depressive disorder, and he was bipolar too.
I feel as though mental health is not something that you can see on one's face. So we never really know what's going on in other people's lives until they decide to share with us or tell us and, say, hey, I have a problem. Because it's not clearly written on your face that you have depression or anxiety, because those are all mental health issues.
My family was very judgmental. When he was a young man, they would pick on him. They would call him a faggot. They would call him a fat faggot. And, I used to see the pain in his eyes. So in 2015, I lost my mom in October, and he was very close to my mother. And I think, people with mental health need a trigger. So when my mom passed in October, 6 weeks after my mom's death, he attempted his life in a very big way. By this stage, he was seeing psychiatrists. He was in and out of hospital. He was on all sorts of antidepressants. And I think that day he just got to a point where he couldn't take it and he took all his medication. And I found him 13 minutes before he could die. Got him to the hospital on ventilation. Doctor says no help, nothing's going to help. He's going to die.
Sorry, Karen, have you probably attempted?
Yes, I have. I have once.
Would you kindly take us through that, maybe? Maybe what the
Because
attempt,
like
if maybe
Mhm.
chances are you'd probably attempt again?
I think that there's a very slim chance that I will attempt again because I have worked on my communication and I have spoken to my family members and let them know what's happening because I felt like also what I did was wrong and I didn't like let them know what was going on. So they were also shocked when it happened. A lot of people didn't understand why it happened. And I feel like part of that was because I didn't talk about it and I didn't go out and kind of like seek help. But I don't think it's something I would do now because I have worked on that on my side and on my parents' side, you know.
I think chances of it happening again are there because I'm still going through so much and I don't, the help that I'm receiving now is, I feel like it's enough.
I started educating myself, um, and this is what most parents. This is my message to parents: you've got to be more vigilant with your children. You've got to pick up differences. If even if they generally quiet children and they get quieter, you need to try and find out what is it, because we as parents go to work, our children are at school, we don't know if they're bullied the entire day. And today, in this day and age that we're living in, both parents are working. So when they come home from work, they're exhausted. They really don't have the energy to listen to their children. And like many young children these days, they end up just taking their lives because there's nobody to talk to.
So it's a matter of being able to communicate with other people and tell them that you listen, I have a problem and this is what's going on. And I feel that if a person gets to a point where they feel like they want to kill themselves, is that they don't have help and they don't know how to communicate with others. So if they know how to build on that communication, then the person can get better help if they communicate with others.
But fortunately for Akshay, he was, I say this with a lot of pride, that he had a strong mom like me. I never let go. I was always at him. I would make sure that he was okay.
I feel like if you're living with someone and you're related to someone, you should make time to communicate with them and check up on them and just see if they're okay and to just know if anything, if you could help them with anything that might be happening to them at that moment.
With my brother that hung himself, I don't know if maybe I couldn't communicate with him much better, or I was very young at the time that he couldn't really share much with me. So with the loved ones behind, there are a lot of questions, and some of those questions can't be answered anymore. But the guilt just doesn't just, escape and go away.
My dream is, if I could save every homosexual person from themselves, from society, I would.
My dream is for everyone to help and everyone not to go through anything that I've been going through.
My dream is to be able to help everyone that is suffering from mental health issues, be it anxiety, depression, PTSD, childhood trauma. I want to make them feel that they are heard and that they're understood and that they're able to come out and be able to communicate about what they're going through.
My dream is a society that is judgment-free.
Yazi, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.